Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Don Mafia Live. Man, listen, I see my girl Bella in the chat. She's saying, I hate these long intros. I got to tease y'all. Listen, I got to tease y'all a little bit. I want to make sure that I have as much as Bill's Mafia in the chat prior to me making the grand entrance. All right. I just want to talk to my friends. But listen, I appreciate you guys sticking around, hyping up. A couple of you guys have said that you hear my background music in your dreams at night. Absolutely insane. But welcome to another edition. As many of you guys know, I am live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST and 5:15 p.m. EST. And damn, I'm not sure about you guys, but I hate the bye week. I hate when the Buffalo Bills are on a bye week. It gives me the taste of the offseason, right? Where we're sitting here, we're trying to pull at straws. We're sitting here waiting patiently for some news to come out based off of the matchup that we are going to be facing within the next week or so. But unfortunately, we don't have it. But let me tell you what, if you guys did have an opportunity, and let me know and put a 1 in the chat if you were here during my morning stream, because I had Z-Bot on from Buffalo Fanatics, and we talked for about an hour, right? Like, we were unpacking just about everything, from expectations shifting to now it's Super Bowl or bust for us. We were talking about the importance of Josh Allen winning the MVP, although that a lot of people will say, oh, forget about an MVP. We want a Super Bowl victory. We were talking about that, and we lightly touched on the Buffalo Bills defense. Because I'll tell you what, listen, I feel like every single stream that I ever do, I get quite a few of you in here, and you're like, Dan, I don't know, man. I'm really nervous about this Buffalo Bills run defense. I'm really nervous about this aspect of the defense, right? And I've been saying for a couple of weeks that I honestly think that this Buffalo Bills team is gaslighting us into believing that we have some chinks in the armor as far as the defense is concerned. I sincerely believe that Sean McDermott is fooling all of us. And the second that we get off of this bye, the second that Matt Milano comes back, guns a-blazing, we are all going to be reminded that this defense is not holding anything back at all. And the signs are there. And I'm going to convince each and every single one of you by the time you walk out of this stream that you're going to be like, you know what, Dan, I think you might damn be right. This defense is absolutely elite, and we are saving our absolute incredible performances for the back half of this season, number one, and then also going on into the playoffs. What a day. What a day. Shout out to everybody joining me today. I love each and every single one of you. I do want to go on ahead and shout out a couple of today's sponsors, folks. Let's go ahead and give a giant shout out to Picasso's Pizza, folks. If you are hungry this weekend, or if you are thinking about some Buffalo tasting best pizza in Buffalo, highly recommend you go on ahead and check out Picasso's Pizza. We have 4 great locations in the Western New York area, and they are delivering nationwide too. So if you are just sporadically in South Dakota, or you're in Connecticut, or you're in New Mexico, I don't care where you are, you can get Picasso's Pizza delivered to your front doorstep as long as you hit that nationwide shipping button right over here on their website. We have the link directly in the description, folks. Just make sure you use code PARADE for 20% off if you want to take advantage of this. All right. Christmas is right around the corner. Super cool gift for anybody that might be missing a little bit of taste of home. And for all of you gambling degenerates out there, I have to give a giant shout out to Rhythm today, folks. Rhythm, hands down, is my number one tool I use for all of my sports gambling degenerate behavior. All right. I have lost a lot of money betting with my heart, betting with my head. But let me tell you what, your boy has been on a damn win streak. In fact, out of all of my picks last week, I went 13-1. If it wasn't for the damn San Francisco 49ers losing to Geno Smith, I would have had a perfect game of money lines. Isn't that insane? Thanks to Rhythm, it ended up hand-picking these things for me, showing the data that the naked eye cannot always end up putting out. And Rhythm is hands down my biggest recommendation for any one of you that enjoy particularly player props. This is my go-to tool, guys. They are offering a 7-day free trial. It's absolutely no risk, high reward. We have all the college football games coming up on Saturday. We have all of the NFL games coming up on Sunday. Feel free to take advantage of this right now, folks, because it has been really paying its dividends for me for all of my degenerate sports gambling behavior. Shout out Rhythm for being a massive partner of today's channel. What's going on, Jet It Out? How you doing? They got good, but not elite. McDermott is doing a hell of a job. I would say the Steelers are elite. And don't worry, we're actually about to unpack that. I had something here. Let me go ahead and pull up my history. In fact, actually, I'm not going to show you my search history, y'all. Good try, FBI. But something I think that a lot of us can understand. Something that I think a lot of us should have a good understanding here. I'm going to go ahead and pull something up that I think is pretty interesting right now. We're going to go defense. Let me check out defense by quarter. Defense by second half. Let's see. Look at this. So right before I share this screen for you real fast, I'm going to go ahead and share it, and then I'm going to unshare it real fast so you guys get or understand where I'm coming from right now. If you look at any one of the Buffalo Bills statistics, all right, we are typically middle of the pack, and that is for yards allowed. That is for points allowed. And a lot of us are like still having nightmares from Derrick Henry, like absolutely gashing us for 200 yards on week 4. Maybe you're like having nightmares of the Miami Dolphins RB squad or RB room absolutely gashing us for the 2 times that we ended up playing them so far this season. But one thing that I want to tell you, and something I want to plant in each and every single one of your brains, what if Sean McDermott is doing it on purpose? And people are like, yeah, right, Dan. Why would Sean McDermott be allowing teams to run on us? Why would Sean McDermott allow teams to march down the field on us during the first half? There's obviously some issues right here. Well, let me tell you what. If you don't believe me, believe the data, my friends, because what I have right here, my friends, is the defensive rankings in the NFL. And you will notice that Buffalo is the 3rd best. We are better than Kansas City. And I'm going to show you what this list is here in a second. And we are right in line with Denver and also Pittsburgh. We are a top 3 defense right now. But here, right before I show you what this list truly is, what is the title of this list, folks? What is the title of this list before I end up showing you? What are we possibly 3rd in the NFL for? I'll tell you what, I'm being wildly impatient. It is NFL team opponent second half points per game. The Buffalo Bills are currently 3rd in the NFL when it comes into holding their opponents to the least amount of points in the damn NFL. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense because I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it. I saw something on Twitter a bit earlier today, and I'm going to read this off to you, and I think you guys are going to appreciate it. In the second half of the Arizona Cardinals game, week 1, the Arizona Cardinals scored, hear me out, 3 points. Second week, Miami scored 0 points in the second half. Jacksonville scored 7. Baltimore scored 14. And granted of how much of a whoop-ass or an ass-whooping they laid out on us, 14 is pretty impressive. Houston only scored 6 points. And that 6th point, or the extra field goal, was done with 0 seconds left on the clock. And it was a very difficult field goal to make. All right. Then afterwards, we held the Jets to 3 points. We held the Tennessee Titans to 0 points in the second half. And I can even go a little bit deeper. Let's go ahead and pull up the Bills' schedule right here, folks. Let's go ahead and pull up the Bills' schedule real fast. I'm going to pull up some of the games after the Tennessee Titans. You had the Seattle Seahawks. How many points did we hold the Seattle Seahawks to? All but 7, folks. All but 7. What about the Miami Dolphins? 3rd and 4th right over here. 17 after the fact. Let's go ahead and go to the Indianapolis Colts. What about the Indianapolis Colts? 7 points in the second half. What about the Kansas City Chiefs, my friend? Only 7 points in the second half of the game, my friends. Y'all didn't even see what I was doing. 7 points for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go ahead and pull up to the Indianapolis Colts. 7 points for the Indianapolis Colts in the second half of the game. Right over here, Seattle Seahawks, 7 points in the 4th. So really what I'm trying to get at right here, folks, is that Sean McDermott, again, is one of the best baiters in the NFL. In fact, I would say that he is a master baiter. He is a master baiter. Pause. Not what you're thinking. Get your minds out of the gutter at this point. He allows teams to do one particular superpower. He picks his poison, right? Say, for example, that the Buffalo Bills prioritize stopping a crazy wide receiver tandem. then he is going to focus on that and he is going to open something up in that game. Say, for example, that the Buffalo Bills want to stop the run and commit to the run, right? He is going to allow one or two wide receivers to consistently get open. He is picking their poison at the end of the day. What I'm trying to suggest is that Buffalo, their defense, picks and chooses what an offense is going to do against them because they want to see their best pitches. They want to see their best possible plays. And the stats are insinuating that we know how to adjust. And folks, let me tell you what. If you have a couple of games where Buffalo ends up walking back out onto the field and they just adjust, second half adjustments are there. But if you're trying to tell me that we are getting crazy second half adjustments each and every single damn game that we play, I'm telling you guys, we are the best adjusting defense in the NFL. Say that you adjust well to a team's offensive game plan. Say that you adjust well to a team's offensive game plan in the second half of the game once or twice a season. That's certainly impressive. But if you're adjusting to a team's offensive game plan each and every single game, that has to tell you one thing and one thing only, that this team already knows what the game plan is and they're just waiting for it to happen. And Sean McDermott and this Buffalo Bills squad right now is quite simply relying on the offense that Joe Brady has created to put up 30 points, much like he always does. 11 out of 18 times in the game. So that's my soapbox right there, baby. Let's go ahead and talk to some people real fast. Our D is elite. Look at our turnovers in the season and the tackles. Then look at the points we have allowed versus points scored. We are that team. We certainly are, Beth. And I really appreciate you coming in here and preaching the gospel of how good this Buffalo Bills team is. And folks, I don't want to get way too ahead of myself because like I said, I wasn't around during the 90s. All right. And so, I mean, I guess I was. And so I was an infant during 1991, our third Super Bowl. And I was also a 1-year-old during our final Super Bowl. But like, I have no vague memory of what that team was like. I don't particularly remember what these dudes were doing out there. But one thing I can say is that I genuinely believe that we have the best team that Josh Allen has ever had. That is for damn sure. And I'll tell you what, I have a guest. It's my guy, Billy. What's going on, dude?
What is going on, guys? Dude, thanks for having me. I know we've been trying to plan this for, it seems like, a month or two now. It just hasn't, it just haven't worked out yet.
No, yeah, man. Most definitely. I'm glad that you were able to come on. Folks, in case you don't know Billy, let me tell you what, dude. He's coming up on TikTok. He's a sports guy, loves the Buffalo Bills, obviously. And so you're in Buffalo, right?
No, man. I am born and raised in New Jersey.
Oh, you're a Jersey guy.
I am a Jersey guy.
So he's a Jersey guy. So listen, man, I hate to put you on blast, but I think that this is something that I feel like people are going to appreciate real fast.
Hear it.
My guy was drafted. Okay. Here he is pitching for the Texas Rangers. All right. Former baseball player. Absolutely incredible. So I have to ask you this, right?
Let's hear it.
I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Okay. And there just so happens to be a single A team down there by the name of the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. Were you ever on that team?
I was never on that team. No.
You were not?
Nope.
Okay, so what exactly was the history right there? Talk to me.
So, I was drafted out of high school.
Okay.
I didn't go in. The money wasn't worth it over the scholarship stuff. You know how that works, all the contract negotiations and whatnot. Went to school, stayed in state, went to Seton Hall, got drafted a second time. Was drafted actually twice by the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
Played for them for a couple of years. I got released during COVID. Injuries start to stack up a little bit. I was picked up by the Somerset Patriots, which is the AA team for the Yankees.
Okay.
Pitched for them for like 6 months, got released again, just started to get hurt again, and it didn't work out. So, but yeah, man, that was just a quick synopsis. I've been around pro athletes for, as far back as I can remember. I grew up with Minka Fitzpatrick. He's from my hometown.
Oh, shit.
Grew up with, close friends. One of my best friends that's his cousin. So naturally, we're all sports fans. I get to talk to him. I have football questions. That's my guy. I go to him. I mean, who else better to ask than somebody who's actually in the league? So
Yeah.
I talked to him. He actually got me tickets to the Bills Steelers playoff game last year.
Oh, really?
So I drove up.
Fitzpatrick got you tickets. So
Yeah. Yes.
So what was that text message after the fact where you're like, thanks for the tickets, bro? How was the L?
So when I found out, well, obviously as we were all watching, the Steelers made it to the next round and we're gonna play in Buffalo. I texted him and I was like, you got to get me tickets, right? He goes, yeah, how many? I got you. So I drove up from Jersey 10 hours through that blizzard.
Oh shit! Yeah, I remember that. So you drove up right before it got canceled.
Yep, I was already there. I was already halfway. Like I was already on my way there just to see that the game got canceled. Had to call my manager from work and just be like, I'm not missing this.
Yeah.
So I might have to miss work on Monday. Are you cool with that? And he's like, dude, just have fun. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I've never been I've been to a few Bills games before, but I've never been to a playoff game.
Playoff shit? Yeah, no, I get it.
So I've never been to a playoff game. Awesome opportunity. I tried to lay him down easy though after the game. I was like, listen, obviously I'm rooting for you out there. As long as you're healthy, that's all that matters. I'm glad I got to see you play in the pros for the first time. But that's what the disappointing part was we both got drafted the same year in 2018. He gets drafted by Miami. So I would have been able to see him, watch Bills games twice a year. And now he's in Pittsburgh. So, we only get to see him whenever we play the AFC North or in the playoffs. But it was an awesome, awesome experience. I brought my old man with me. It was just an absolute heck of a time. That atmosphere is incredible. And it definitely lived up to all of the hype. Not that it hasn't when I've gone to previous games, but playoff atmosphere is just different.
See, I'll tell you what, man. I could only imagine. And more than likely, like I've been guessing that we're going to be running into the Steelers like during the second round. I'm just pretty convinced that they are going to ultimately end up winning that AFC North. I know everyone's high on the Baltimore Ravens, but I think what the Steelers were able to accomplish last week against them, I think this is the Steelers' move. So I think my question to you is, right, like obviously diehard Bills fan over here. I appreciate you coming on. And guys, by the way, want you to go ahead and check out my guy's TikTok. Is this like all you're on right now as far as content is exclusively TikTok, or do you also have a YouTube channel going on?
So I'm very, very new to all of the streaming and all the new content creation. So I'm kind of baby stepping my way. My TikTok is obviously my primary platform. I'm a little bit on Instagram. I have
views, brother. Look at that, dude. That's some home runs.
I got a few of them. Hey, some of them, a lot of people don't like some of them.
It is what it is, man.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? I guess it's the name of the game. It comes with the territory. But I am expanding. I plan on streaming. I plan on hopping on YouTube. I've already started doing some lives. A lot of people have seemed to have really taken that on. They love talking sports with me. I mean, that's the name of my channel, man. Talk sports with me. That's all I enjoy doing.
Talk sports with you, bro.
That's all I like to do, whether it's football, baseball. I like talking sports. And my goal is to build a community of like-minded people who just love to talk sports.
Beautiful.
So, but I didn't want to miss a point. You mentioned the Steelers. If you go to my Twitter, I have a pinned tweet. I predicted that the Steelers were going to win the North before the season.
You said the Steelers were going to win it the entire time.
Yes, before the season started. I said you can get them at plus 700 on BetMGM, and I'm taking them.
Let me fact check. He did say it. I have the Steelers winning the AFC North. BetMGM. Let me go ahead and share this tab as well. Plus 700 to win the division. He was high on the Steelers all the time. Maybe it had to do with the fact that he has a personal relationship with Minka Patrick, folks.
No, this is my reason why.
Obviously, he knows ball, folks.
This is my reason why. Yeah. If you remember the playoff game that the Steelers had against us in Buffalo, if you vividly remember, it was not a blowout. That was a relatively close game without
Mason Rudolph, bro.
Without TJ Watt, and Mason Rudolph was their quarterback.
Yeah. No, dude. Listen, man. Like, honestly, like, I think that Mike Tomlin, and this is definitely a controversial take. It's a very controversial take, but I really don't think that the difference between Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin is as astronomical as people want to like let it be known. Because listen, I love Andy Reid. Like, obviously, he has the hardware to back it up, but he has fucking Patrick Mahomes. All right. Let's be honest with ourselves. He has an absolute head coach's wet dream of personnel. And if people want to continue and just hype up Andy Reid, like, let's also reflect back when he was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles for the longest time.
Right.
Yes, he made the Chiefs competitive before Patrick Mahomes, but Tomlin, in my opinion, is the best coach in the NFL just by proving that he can take a carousel of bums at the quarterback position, always have them over 500, always end up having them competitive in the playoffs. But we'll see.
I love that you brought this up. This is absolute gold.
Yeah,
you just stirred up a pot of gold for me.
Yeah.
One of my recent posts that I just made was about Mike Tomlin. And it was actually, listen, I didn't have a major stance on it. I just wanted to point out some stats. I'm a baseball player, like numbers, like the analytics. Mike Tomlin and Mike McCarthy have borderline identical career stats.
Really?
Mike McCarthy.
So you're a Mike McCarthy truther.
Listen, no. So this is why I didn't take the absolute stance on McCarthy being better.
Yeah.
I just think that the media treats McCarthy and Tomlin entirely different.
Okay.
I do believe Mike Tomlin is a better head coach. Obviously, he's never had a losing season. That's without saying. However, Mike Tomlin had Ben Roethlisberger for a long time, only came away with one ring. Mike McCarthy had Rodgers for a long time.
Yeah.
One ring. McCarthy beat Tomlin in the Super Bowl.
Touche.
I get that Tomlin, he's never had a losing season.
Yeah.
All right. And if I go back and look at some of these numbers, I mean, Mike McCarthy has a better playoff record than Mike Tomlin.
Which makes it okay. So maybe Tomlin really isn't that guy.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, he's a leader amongst men, and he has my utmost respect. I think he is an absolute class act. He's handled the media better than most. But yeah, I think Tomlin, Andy Reid, and people want to rip on McCarthy, man.
Yeah,
he's got borderline identical stats to Tomlin.
Yeah. All right, guys.
That's something guys aren't really paying attention to.
Hear me out, guys. Mike McCarthy, he will be on his ass thanks to Jerry Jones this offseason.
Yep.
More than likely. 8 potential head coaching positions will be open this offseason. Unfortunately, we might have to say goodbye to Joe Brady. But besides that, that's a topic for later on in this episode. I want to talk Buffalo Bills with you, my friend. Obviously, a big Bills guy. And so I'm not going to lie to you, man. I've been covering this team for about 5 to 6 years. And I feel like that I've always had the sentiment and the positivity, especially facing my audience, being like, listen, like, we can go all the way. But always in the back of my head, I ended up having like realistic expectations. Like, I would tell myself internally, I would say, you know what? If we made it to the AFC Championship, I would be happy, right? Because like we ended up getting bounced in the divisional. Just go one step further for me.
Right.
After the AFC Championship loss a couple of years back, I said, you know, a Super Bowl appearance is what I want. But I think this offseason, where everyone was trying to tell us Stephon Diggs is gone, Poyer is gone, Hyde is gone, Trey was gone, which really pissed me off because he didn't play for us realistically for 2 years prior to that. I wasn't anticipating a 9-2 record going into the bye. I thought that we would be on top of the division. Maybe I thought that some of the AFC East rivals would have been somewhat competitive. But needless to say, what we've been able to accomplish with all of these offseason departures, watching us beat the Kansas City Chiefs last week, and Z-Bot was on my show earlier today, and he was saying, Dan, let's reflect on how we felt walking out of the Kansas City Chiefs game last year, when the only reason we won was just because Kadarius Toney was a fucking moron and he was offsides.
Yes.
We felt like we dodged the bullet. We felt that like we ended up like walking away from a near-death experience. But I left this game this previous Sunday saying, okay, we dominated that team from the very beginning. No stretch at all. We were the better football team. Now my expectations, my friend, are we have to win it or it is going to be a complete and utter disappointment. That's what I'm feeling right now. I think that we have the best team Josh Allen has ever had in his entire career. I feel like Sean McDermott is growing as a head coach. He's learning from his mistakes. Your thoughts? Have the Buffalo Bills exceeded your expectations? Did you think that we would be as good on paper as we were at the beginning of training camp? And what would be a disappointment to you? What is basement floor expectations for the Buffalo Bills for you right now?
I wish I could find this. I wish you could pin multiple tweets.
Right? Yeah, wouldn't that be ideal?
I have another tweet that I will end up finding for you eventually where
Yeah.
I had mentioned, I said, listen, to circle back to your first question, with losing all of the talent on both sides of the ball, with my Steelers prediction, I said that this was going to be the best Buffalo offense we've seen in the Josh Allen era. I will find the tweet for you. Don't you worry. I will eventually find it for you. I don't want to spend time looking on it on my phone, but I expected the offense to be better than ever. However, I did not expect the defense and those personnel to play the way that they are. I understand, like, we lost a lot of big names, but let's call it how it is, right? Micah Hyde was getting up there in age. Jordan Poyer lost a step or two. It's tough with the Trey White situation because you're right. He was injured. He didn't play a whole lot for us. Obviously, Von Miller, right? Von Miller's a whole other discussion. He's been a very frustrating player for us on defense for quite some time after that whole first season for us where we thought he was going to, be the guy for us. But I have been ripping Sean McDermott for a long time.
Yeah.
And my biggest argument for it was when he had Cam Newton in 2015, he was the defensive coordinator for the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even have a top 5 defense.
No.
He didn't impress. He's supposed to be this defensive guru. He's supposed to be this guy that can step into situations and fluster rookie quarterbacks or inexperienced quarterback. And time after time after time again, we saw for the past 3 or 4 years, Josh Allen gives the Bills a lead, and we have to put it into Sean McDermott and that defense's hands, and it's fumbled. So to see the adjustments that McDermott has made with not playing prevent defense, prevent defense prevents you from winning in situations where you need to just put a defender in somebody's face and challenge them. So I'm very, very impressed with the growth and him learning from repeated mistakes over and over and over again. You're a massive Bills fan yourself. You understand the frustrations where you're sitting there like, why can't the defense just make a stop?
Yeah.
A stop. And that Chiefs game last year, I felt like the same way. We dodged a bullet. It was like we were almost a victim of one of the greatest plays in NFL history.
Thank God. Because normally that's never called.
Normally
that's never called. Normally the refs turn the other way.
Right.
Situations like that.
This time around, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. We got something going right now. Like, it's not like, there was maybe a few times throughout the game where it's like you're almost anticipating it. Like, oh no, it's the Bills are going for it on 4th down here. The touchdown run that Josh Allen had to secure the game. You're almost thinking, if they don't get this, this is it. Like, this is how it usually goes. We're gonna go for it. We're not gonna get it, and the Chiefs are gonna go down the field and win the game. Instead, McDermott says, instead of, I don't know, giving it to DeMar Hamlin on a punt, he goes, let's spread it out. If the first read isn't there, Josh, take off.
Yeah.
Why are we not like the calls, the schemes, the everything, top to bottom? This Bills team this year feels like it's the best, and there's no household names. It's an everybody eats offense, and it's a do your job defense, and I love it. I have never been more excited since 2020 to watch Bills football, because the previous couple of years have just felt like how are you going to disappoint me this year? But this is the year.
Yeah.
And Nick Wright who I'm a massive fan of on First Things First on Fox Sports.
I like him too. He's growing on me. He's a Bills hater.
He's a Bills hater. However, he's never wrong, and that's what I have to.
Kind of right.
He's always got it perfect. Like a few years ago, he would say Josh Allen has a roller coaster of a season. He'll have a really good game with 100 passer rating, and then the next game it's 60. Then the next week it's 98, and then the next week it's 72. He comes out with facts, and I really listen. As much as I don't like that he's a big Bills hater, he calls it how it is, and he came out yesterday on national television and said, This is the Bills' year. Don't screw it up.
Yeah.
This is your year. You just manhandled our Chiefs." He goes, "You just manhandled my Chiefs. We stood no chance against you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are officially the number one team." Now, I think Detroit right now is the number one team in the NFL. As much as I love what Buffalo's doing, they are just that game in week 15. I really don't look forward to seeing what that offense is going to do, because you have an all-pro tight end. You have what's the nickname that they have? They have the Sonic and
they have Sonic and Knuckles. With the running back squad at the end of the day.
Running back room is unreal. Goff is as accurate as ever. The offensive line's one of the best in the league. J-Mo is an absolute incredible asset for them now. And JSN is JSN. I mean, not JSN, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, that offense is like it's like a Madden team in real life. Like, what weakness does Detroit have on the offensive side of the ball? And that is what scares me, because I don't know what Sean McDermott has up his sleeve to slow that down. If we can't establish a running game early against Detroit, because we haven't ran the ball as efficiently as we did to start the season, and that's a bit concerning.
The funny thing is that, like, me knowing this Buffalo Bills team, right? Like, we're gonna go out there and beat the Lions, but then the following week we're gonna lose to Drake May and the New England Patriots. I know this team too well, Billy. All right, like, I know that we're gonna step up. And that, like, we are going to, like, have the game of our life. We're going to see Josh Allen go out there and cement the MVP, but then we'll end up dropping one in the divisional games. Obviously, that's joking. I never would want to wish that on any Bills fan whatsoever. But I'm looking at this schedule. It sounds like you're pretty nervous about the Detroit Lions. I think that it's going to be a hell of a matchup. This Lions team has been struggling significantly with their defensive injuries. Right? Like, obviously, losing out on Aiden Hutchinson is massive. Dude's still top 10 in sacks, and he's been out for like 6 weeks.
I was about to say the same thing. He's a top 10 leader in sacks, and he hasn't played.
It's crazy. He's been out for like 6 weeks. He's still there. So they're obviously missing that pass rush aspect. Zadarius Smith was just sent over. I think he's only had 1 game so far. His production was decent, but it's no Aiden Hutchinson. I honestly think this is going to be like a 48-50 sort of game. And it ultimately comes down into, like, what team ultimately ends up having the football at the end of the day. But right now, this team is sitting at 9-2. All right. Sean McDermott's undefeated after the bye week since he's taking over. Look at the schedule right now. Obviously, you are concerned about the Lions based off of your sentiment. I'm assuming you already have that pegged as an L for this team. What if you were a gambling man? Okay, what is the final record for the Bills based off of this schedule right now? And what seed do you think we ultimately will have? Talk to me.
So I don't like what the 49ers are doing right now offensively. They don't think about it. You can disagree with me here. If you went back and looked at the 49ers for the past 2 seasons, you tuned into a game. It looked easy. It looked like magic. Everybody was getting the ball. Debo, Kittle, Ayuk, McCaffrey. It was just what they were doing there looked so good. It's not looking like that anymore. Obviously, they have had massive injuries, but even when you've had a majority of those guys healthy, San Fran's offense has not looked great. And that's why I'm probably going to say after the bye week, Buffalo's going to advance to 10-2.
Okay.
Now, the Rams, they have a middle-of-the-pack defense. But offensively, when they have all 3 of their guys, Kyren, Puka, and Kupp,
Yeah.
They're as scary as ever.
Absolutely.
They are.
Yeah.
To me, the Rams and the Texans are the same team.
Yeah.
Because if you have all of the assets there, so if you have Tank Dell, Nico, and Joe Mixon,
Yeah.
that offense is,
Scary.
scary as anyone else's.
Yeah.
Same thing applies to the Rams. You take one of those legs out, I'm not a betting man on them. But because
Okay.
of the defense and because of how well we are able to stop the pass,
Yeah.
not like the Rams run the ball all that well, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have Buffalo moving to 11-2.
Okay. Okay.
Detroit in
Awesome.
Detroit. I'm sorry.
Just
Unless
having us just getting our ass kicked.
I
And
just
maybe we get a rematch in the Super Bowl where
that's
we
exactly what I'm saying because
I'm
that's what America wants.
storybook. That's storybook, baby.
That's what America
Absolutely. I agree with
wants.
you there.
It's what America wants. But
Bills Lions.
but it's the
That's
first time
America's Super Bowl right there,
that is
brother.
America's Super Bowl right there.
Yeah.
But it's in Detroit. That place gets loud, doesn't get enough respect. I think now that they're actually, good, that city's starting to fill those seats up inside. And it's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be anything like the Baltimore game where Jahmyr Gibbs or Monty just right down the field on the first play of the game that, the game's over in the first quarter. I don't see that happening. But I do think that Detroit's going to win that game and we're going to fall to 12-3.
Okay.
I'm a massive Drake May guy. I am. I
Josh Allen 2.0.
I think he has obviously. Well, it's not that I think. We all see that he has those physical capabilities.
Oh yeah.
And you can see him start to ascend.
He's playing with stones too, bro. He's playing with balls out there.
He's playing like a rookie Allen, and I love it. I'm all there for it. I want competition. You know what? It's a shame that the AFC East is so weak.
Yeah.
Because we all expected, right, the Jets to be, toe to toe with us. Miami, maybe there, depending on if their defense was able to figure it out. But it's a shame because I like competitive football, and it's kind of just, I'm not going to say it's discrediting the Bills because, it's all you play in the AFC East. Those wins against a good Jets team and a good Dolphins team weigh a lot more. They give Buffalo a whole lot more respect. It wouldn't have taken us to have to beat the Chiefs to finally get us over that. Hey, actually, Buffalo's good. So I have us beating the rest of our schedule out. We're gonna go 14-3. I don't see Drake May being able to beat the Bills.
No,
I just don't. I think rookie quarterbacks against defensive guru coaches. I mean, Bill Belichick did it for years. Rookie quarterbacks against really good defensive teams, they're not great. The Jets, I'm honestly, I listen. I'm in Jersey, man. I'm surrounded by nothing but Jets fans. All right,
miserable Jets fans, right?
Miserable Jets fans, and I've already let them hear it. All right, so I'm not gonna twist the knife even more. But the Jets, that's a whole other discussion. That defense is just not what it used to be since Salah left. They obviously can't get anything moving on the ground. It blows my mind because they can run the ball, but they chose not to. They choose not to. They actually can run the ball, but they choose not to, which is
crazy,
mind blowing. But that is my dissection of the rest of our schedule. I think the Bills finished 14-3, completely shocking everyone because I know everyone had the Jets, or at least a lot of people had the Jets winning that division before it started.
It's now seeding. What are you thinking right there? So we thinking that Kansas City drops a couple and we get first, or you eye in the second seed? Here's my thought. Yeah. We can go ahead and pull up the rest of what they have.
Let's pull up Kansas City's schedule.
So I'll go on ahead and I'll tell you what. I already have them pegged for one loss in their division. I think I'm probably going to hand it off to Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, handing it to them. And then I also have a pretty good feeling that Pittsburgh matches up very well against them as well. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs dropping 2 more. We remember that they lost to the Raiders last year, who was maybe even worse than what they were right now last year on Christmas Day. But I'm looking at this. I'm really not a big believer in the Texans. I honestly think that C.J. Stroud has been going through a significant sophomore slump. I think offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick has coached himself out of head coach candidacy. I think the Chiefs will take care of business there, but I'm eyeing these two. right here. I think that Harbaugh ends up squeezing one out against them, and I think especially the Steelers at home, 0 shot. Give me the Steelers there.
I have a blueprint in the NFL. Like, I think there's a bona fide blueprint to success in the NFL. Like, if you can do these two things, you put yourself in the best possible position to win most of the time.
Yeah.
Run the ball at will and play good defense.
Yeah.
And that could be common knowledge, but for the folks that are watching, that is how you win for a long time. Brady did it forever. He became a game manager at certain points and just handed the ball off and let his defense do the job. What do the Chargers do well? Run the ball, play great defense. This is why the Ravens don't scare anybody. Yeah, they can run the ball, but I don't trust Lamar to sling the rock. I don't think their weapons and their wide receiver room are able to get enough separation throughout games and march up and down the field. And Baltimore's defense isn't that great. I absolutely think the Chiefs do lose to the Chargers. I think that Steelers-Chiefs game is going to be the best game of the year.
Really?
That's going to be an absolute amazing game to watch because you got like we talked about earlier, you got two of like the best head coaches in the National Football League running a chess match, at the end of December.
It's a defensive chess match too.
You're going to see
that game will be like 9-6, bro.
You're going to see some of the most amazing defensive coverages. You're going to see as many trick plays as you possibly. You're going to see so much motion. You're going to see the most creative play calls on offense and defense in that game. I look forward to watching the Chiefs and the Steelers play so much. I'm not going to bone the Chiefs for losing the game against the Steelers. However, I'm going to peg them for losing the game December 8th against the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to beat them. I really do.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, what Harbaugh is doing out there. And as long as they ultimately end up having the same record as us, obviously we have the tiebreaker. We get that first overall seed. But again, I always like to look at the future and I always like to think about, okay, what's the ideal path to the Super Bowl, right?
Well, Pacheco comes back. He's coming back, so that makes that offense that much better.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not like Kareem Hunt's not good because Kareem Hunt has done a tremendous job for them.
Yeah.
However, Isaiah Pacheco is one of the angriest runners in football. He's one of those physical backs not named Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb.
Yeah. So when I look at this playoff run potentially, right? I'm not so much concerned about the first seed or the second seed. And so I'll be honest with you, man. There's one team that I want to avoid entirely, and that's Baltimore. Maybe it's because it was week 4. So maybe that is still right in the back of my mind. I know the narrative that is surrounded around Baltimore that they can only score 14 plus points in the playoffs. They just choke. They just don't show up. Yes, Milano will be coming back. Yes, we will have Bernard back out there because nobody wants to admit and nobody wants to acknowledge the fact that we were banged up to all hell against that Baltimore Ravens team, especially defensively. Yeah. But that's still not something that I want to risk. So if it was up to me, I would ideally like to avoid Baltimore at all costs. I would love if, say, for example, we're the first seed or we're the second seed, what have you. But say that we're the second seed, I would love to open up the wild card round with either the Broncos and or the Chargers. So I understand that both defenses have been playing very well.
I'll throw Houston in that mix.
Yeah. But I have a feeling that they're going to go on ahead and win that AFC South. And I have a feeling that Baltimore is going to be the 5th seed. So to begin with. So my thought process is I know Baltimore is going to blow that Houston Texans team right out of the water that first game. So that's over with. But then say, for example, that we're the first seed. Oh, boom. Look at that. We have Baltimore the first game right after a bye. Hopefully we're not rusty. I would rather it be Bills second seed. First matchup is Broncos or Chargers. We take care of them. And then Baltimore beats the brakes off of the Houston Texans. And then Kansas City has to play Baltimore that following week. And then we end up playing that 3rd seed, which I think is going to be Pittsburgh, which I think would still be a super, super difficult game. But Sean McDermott has shown that he can win in a chess match against Mike Tomlin more times than not. And then afterwards, we see Kansas City right in the AFC Championship, which I genuinely believe that we match up way better against. Because, we're having a fully healthy Cooper. We're getting Keon Coleman back. Ideally, of course. Dalton Kincaid will be back. Spencer Brown, Matt Milano on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm not sure like what your ideal path is or most realistic pathway to New Orleans, but I'm going first round Broncos, Chargers, second round Steelers, AFC Championship, Kansas City Chiefs. Go on ahead and book that ticket right to the Super Bowl if that is how it ends up playing out.
I would rather not that I don't respect the Chargers. I think they can be scary at times. I mean, I had the Chargers beating the Bengals. That was one of my predictions in one of my videos on TikTok when I do my picks every week. But I would truthfully not rather. I do not want to see the Chargers in the playoffs. It is one of those games. I really don't, because they play great defense and run the ball very well, and Justin Herbert's good. Jim Harbaugh is a Hall of Fame coach at one point or another in his life, whether it's in college or in the NFL. I think Jim Harbaugh, I mean, he's going to another Super Bowl with another Jim Harbaugh he's going to coach for a very long time with Justin Herbert, and they're going to do great things together.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather see Houston. I would rather see Denver, because I don't trust CJ Stroud. Rib injury. He's plateaued a bit. Sophomore slump. Defense is not great. I would also rather face Denver. Yes, Denver's defense is incredible. However, listen, Bo Nix is great. Don't get me wrong. If it wasn't for Jaden Daniels' start to, a historic QB rookie season start, Bo Nix could be in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I don't trust Denver, right, to score, though, against a Bills defense.
Yeah.
So I think we can both agree that obviously we want to avoid Baltimore at all costs. But, yeah, I would rather see Houston or Denver over the Chargers for that reason.
And so it makes sense, too, because, while Bo Nix has been doing very well, and, I owe Bo Nix fans an apology, because I thought that he was just going to be captain check down, be absolute ass all year. And, look at him now. He was Offensive Player of the Week last week. He's doing his thing. But I'd probably have to agree with you there, and I think you may have made me a believer. Much rather go up against an inexperienced quarterback opposed to a Justin Herbert, even regarding their weapons at the end of the day. But
exactly. The quarterback matters. Give me the quarterback.
No, dude. I definitely understand it. But tell you what, Billy. So I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm going to have you on a hell of a lot more, guys. Shout out for Billy for coming on, chatting a little Buffalo Bills football with us. It's the bye week, so we need to have as many conversations as possible as we wait for this team to come back as healthy as humanly possible. So I'll tell you what, man, where should I send these guys to go follow you? Right over TikTok, right over X? The floor is yours, man. Go ahead.
TikTok, at Talk Sports With Me. It couldn't be more simplistic than that. Just Talk Sports With Me. I go live. I try to go live every single night around 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I do pre-week picks. I do reviews. If you're a gambling man, I do post some picks every so often. I worked for FanDuel for 2 years, so I've got a little bit of knowledge regarding that industry. But at Talk Sports With Me. I'm on TikTok, Instagram. My Twitter is my name. I didn't open one up in my other handles, but dude, this was awesome. I know we've been trying to do this for the past couple of weeks. I was so stoked that we were able to free up some time. We got to do this again.
Yeah, man, most definitely. We have plenty of opportunities. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST, 5:15 p.m. EST. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow, bright and early at 11 a.m. Peace.